full force. Are you kidding me?
Hey, what's up? It's Mr. Young.
And it's four in the building. Bro, what happened, bro?
A little bit of deja vu, you know. We
Yeah.
actually started the podcast like 20 minutes ago. And then I realized I didn't press record. Oh, all the stuff, the good stuff we went through. Okay, very quickly, let's recap a little bit in this, what we can describe as a horror show of a podcast. Very fitting for the theme of today's episode.
Especially since whatever just happened. It's like having sex without wearing a condom and realizing probably after you're done.
Okay, well, that's one heck of a metaphor. We'll go with that, I guess.
We shall go with that indeed. But before we start on diving into everything, we gotta give a shout out to Boss Gregory for last week's awesome conversation that we had. Our longest episode this season, bro, 2.5 hours.
That's right. And of course, with Greg, every time when it comes to talking about professional wrestling, like he's the man, like he's known, you know, he knows so much about the business, right? But also like we had to talk about the stuff with Dick Togo as well, Dick Togo's appearance in New Japan. So that was a very interesting, very informative conversation as well.
I always love picking his brain, and the best thing about yesterday's segment is Greg always has his students, always has his fans. So it's when we uploaded the video on YouTube, we premiered it as well on Facebook Live. All of the Grapple Max people were there, you know, making a very lively discussion on our chat. So we really have to thank all of them for being so social. And we really wish and we really hope that, you know, going forward, wherever you guys want to interact with us on Facebook, YouTube now, of course, the OGs on Instagram, Spotify, wherever it is, please share. And we're always there to engage in wrestling discussion if you guys want to have some fun.
Absolutely. No, feel free to jump in at any point in time. Kick to the Gut on YouTube, on Facebook, the videos that is, and of course on our podcast platforms as well, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You know how to find us. And, you know, if you manage to spot us doing something stupid on the stream or whatever, just cut a snippet of it and share it. We love stuff like that.
You never know, man. Maybe down the road with all your TikTok expertise recently, Mr. Young, you might end up having a TikTok account, huh?
I already have a TikTok account, and I wouldn't say expertise is the word. But talking about TikTok, I know why you brought it up, because we mentioned this earlier. Undertaker, blue tick and all, it's official. Undertaker has a TikTok account. Why? I'm pretty sure it's Michelle McCool running that shit, because I don't see Mark Calloway doing the savage love shit and all that nonsense, you know?
First of all, a few things I want to see. I want to see a dead man challenge.
Roll eye.
I want to see a roll eyes and sit back challenge.
Oh, the sit up challenge.
Yeah, the sit up challenge.
Sit up challenge. Yeah.
Then after that, must have the gong. Okay.
Gong.
I can
turn off the lights challenge or turn on the lights challenge.
See, I can imagine the possible. Bro, marketing manager for Undertaker, man.
Sure. Why
Let
don't you
him
pitch?
start it.
You pitch him, huh? You pitch him.
I DM him.
Yeah, right. What else did we talk about? Okay, we talked a little bit about TNA Slammiversary, which also happened this past weekend. Might have been the better wrestling show.
Yes, and the funny thing is, it was the most socially active wrestling live event that Impact Wrestling have ever produced.
Well, I mean,
got a lot of buzz online.
That's not saying a lot, lah. It's Impact after all. You mentioned the big fatal four-way for the championship at the end, the vacant championship, because Tessa Blanchard no-showed a bunch of stuff, and then they just, let her go.
Yeah.
Eric Young was a surprise debut.
The return of Eric Young, and there was even he wasn't just the only one who was returning or debuting on Impact Wrestling. There was as well Ethan Carter III. He had a killer promo. The Good Brothers debuting in Impact as well.
Anderson and Gallows, yes.
Anderson and Gallows, and someone you know very, very well in NXT, Diona Purrazzo. I can't really pronounce the name.
Diana Purrazzo, the virtuosa. Yeah. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say I know her very well. I've seen her work, and now she is a part of Impact Wrestling. So, I mean, they're doing things, but is it going to be enough? I mean, they are North American wrestling. They are third still. So
I'm rooting for them to succeed only because, like you said, more competition means more jobs going around for the wrestlers. There's always an opportunity that Impact might do something interesting or viral or that might catch our attention. So it's always good to have variety, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely is, especially when you're talking about the dominant company doing things that are interesting, but not in a good way. Let's just put it that way, okay? Let's dive into it then. This is the review for the horror show at Extreme Rules.
Truly was a horror show indeed.
I mean, okay, let me preface that by saying that I feel like all the performers performed well. This is not the fault of the wrestlers. I think they all went in there and did their thing. It's just booking and direction and the creative. Wow, left a sour taste in a lot of mouths, I feel. So let's just start from the start, okay? This was on the kickoff show, Kevin Owens versus Murphy.
Hi, doggy.
Oh, right, hey.
Got distracted. Looking at Mr. Young's doggy, like actual dog, not anything else. Anyway, Kevin Owens, yes, and Buddy Murphy's kick off on the pre-show, which nobody watches. But a newsworthy thing that came out from that was obviously with the Kevin Owens beat up Buddy Murphy so that he won't interfere in Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio's match.
Yeah, I mean, they've had this match is not out of left field. Like they've had history. It's fine. It is a match that makes sense, but it's on the pre-show and it's a throwaway match, lah. You know, it's like there is no consequence if you think about it. So,
as much as I love both wrestlers, let's be honest, their connection to the crowd, like they don't really have that connection where you would say, okay, I want to sit down and watch a Kevin Owens match.
Yeah. Well, that's because they have nothing to work with currently.
Yeah.
And Murphy, we all know how talented he is in the ring, but so far as Seth Rollins' disciple, he's just basically a lackey. He hasn't done much. It's not like you brought up, Randy Orton in Evolution. Everyone in Evolution had a role. You know, they had a thing. There was a storyline that was building. I feel like with Murphy, he's just there as a body, and Seth is doing all the talking anyway.
And we haven't seen Austin Theory in a while.
Yeah, what the hell happened to him? Is he at home because of COVID-19 or what?
That's why we have no idea. So I'm keeping my ears very close down to the dirt sheets to see if there's anything that might come up. But as of now, the Monday Night Messiah is again a two-man faction lah.
Yeah, right? Maybe he's cursed. First he had the AOP and then they got injured and then now Austin Theory, maybe it's just not, maybe he just should go solo. Anyway. Talking about two solo acts who somehow became a tag team quite randomly. Let's jump into the main card then. We kick off the show with Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura beating the New Day, Big E and Kofi Kingston for the SmackDown tag team titles. Was this a surprise to you? It was a tables match, by the way.
It wasn't a surprise because let's face it, the New Day is as stale as they can be right now. And I don't blame them personally, in terms of the situation. It is what it is. Xavier Woods is injured. Kofi Kingston needs to drop back to the tag team tandem for them to make New Day work. The problem is, I feel that this is the perfect time for them to kind of go their separate ways. They can still be under the New Day banner. Yeah. But I feel that Big E, so much potential. He needs to be like a star, have a breakout moment.
Then again, can't you say the same about every single person in this match, except for maybe Kofi Kingston? He's already had his moment, but Shinsuke Nakamura has not won the main world title yet. And like you mentioned earlier as well, he is one world title away from being a Grand Slam champ.
Yeah, very interesting. Very quietly,
Yeah.
We never noticed. Quiet. Oh, then he building up this very impressive resume. Impressive because he looks impressive on paper. But we know those reigns are forgettable as hell.
What about Cesaro? Is the same thing, isn't he? He's not won a world title yet, but he's won every other title.
I do not know whether Cesaro has won the IC championship yet.
Oh, you would assume he has, but yeah, maybe you're right. Yeah, Shinsuke greatest run arguably it was in NXT lah.
Yeah, unfortunately, and unfortunately, as Cesaro's greatest run was 6 years ago.
Yeah,
when he won the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. So it's very sad. But I'd rather have them win the titles and be tag team champions than not do anything, right? So,
okay, I have to bring this up because the setup to this tables match, right? They won a qualifying match, so they got to pick the stipulation. And it happened on the SmackDown. They had this backstage interview where they were like, okay, we can pick the stipulation. What is it going to be? And then Cesaro looks at Shinsuke. It's like, what do you think we should, fight the New Day in? And then Shinsuke goes on this like very descriptive, I want to see Big E's flesh tear against a steel cage. I want a steel cage match. Then Cesaro was like, that's cool, but I would rather see them in the tables match. Let's do a tables match. And then Shinsuke is like, yeah. It was like, oh my God. Like, It's as if, okay, I looked at you, Foreign.
Yep.
Tonight, let's go for dinner. What do you want to have? Do you want to have laksa or nasi lemak? And you say, I want to have nasi lemak, bro. I think it's very delicious. I have a craving for nasi lemak. And then I say, okay, let's go for laksa. Like, why even ask if you're going to pick?
Why even ask? And
who wrote that shit? Who wrote that shit?
It can't be Nakamura is the one that's having input in his writing. Because like we were saying, if Nakamura was the one that had to verbalize it, he would be saying, table match. Come on.
Something.
That would have been more entertaining. In my eyes.
It was just the most stupid backstage interview. I don't know if you caught it. I know a lot of people skip SmackDown, but yeah, that really did not.
It's very funny because I actually really like Cesaro's shirt. Obviously,
that's so random.
No, because the point I'm trying to make is they were part of the artist collective with Sami Zayn, right? And then his shirt that his merch right now that he's wearing is called the Wrestling Purist.
Oh.
Which if he runs with it and like makes it to a gimmick, that's a pretty badass gimmick. He's like Timothy Thatcher down in NXT where he's like showing grappling and all that, right?
Then he should go and join Imperium lah. Actually, he would. Can you imagine him and Walter and the other few jabronis?
Yeah, they got the European connection as well.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope. Pretty dope.
The match itself, I mean, like I said, you can't blame any of the performance. I think they all did very well. It was a solid tables match, that bump with Kofi Kingston and the finish.
Insane bump. And like we were saying as well, this kind of matches, it would have been a hot start if there was a crowd. It would have been a great start to the event. I just kind of felt that, I don't know whether you notice it as well, but I feel like the audience, which is AKA the NXT trainees, I think they're also super shagged and tired and they can't be bothered anymore.
I think so.
Yeah, they are just like going through the motions. And I don't know, I feel like if they are given more freedom, like in AEW, like the crowds, I feel they're just given very brief directions and they just be themselves,
As fans.
But they're just... You know, like when you play WWE 2K and like the graphics are the audience.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just on repeat loop. That's probably what it is.
Okay. I feel like watching all these shows, right, there is somebody in the crowd that is trying to be a joker. I don't know who it is, but I noticed this one male voice always randomly shouting bullshit. I want to know who it is. Yeah, I wonder, because I think it was on Raw. It was a stipulation thing again with Dolph Ziggler and Drew, and we'll get to that in a bit, but... somebody in the crowd yelled, "Eye for an eye match!" Like trying to be funny. And I've noticed this in several tapings already. So I'm like, okay, there's this one idiot in the performance center, one of the trainees, who's always yelling something that's, well, technically he's not supposed to yell.
But doesn't that make it much more fun? That's the whole point of having a live crowd.
I guess so. Like heckling,
politically incorrect stuff.
Yeah, know what I mean? Like there's this one guy who's just got the balls to be a heckler. I don't know who it is, but I don't know if anyone has noticed this.
I want to fancy a guess and say it's Eric Bugenhagen.
Who?
Do you know him?
Who the hell is that?
Oh, you don't know him?
Who's Eric Bugenhagen?
Eric Bugenhagen. He's one of the... I don't think he has made much of an impression on NXT, but he's the one that comes out with the sick guitar entrance.
Oh, the air guitar. Oh, the big hair guy. Yeah. I know.
The big
idea.
Yeah, sounds like something that he would do.
I don't know.
I don't know. But
if on NXT or the next few tapings we don't hear that voice, he probably got told off. Anyway, let's move on then. Bayley with Sasha Banks defeated Nikki Cross, Alexa Bliss in her corner as well. SmackDown Women's Championship. I don't know what it is about these two. Maybe they just don't have chemistry. It wasn't a bad match, but it wasn't an exciting match to me at all.
Well, do you remember who was Bayley's last challenger at the greatest wrestling match ever? Yeah, Backlash. Do you remember?
Who was it? I forgot.
It was a stupid one also. Oh no, the stupid one was previously in Money in the Bank.
Who was it? I forgot.
Tamina.
Oh, Tamina, yeah. That's like most pointless. Well, at least this one, they have the whole connection with Alexa Bliss and, they have been feuding. But also, like, I don't know what it is. Nikki Cross so far in the main, quote-unquote, main roster hasn't really captured the imagination. Like, I feel like everyone's just waiting for Alexa Bliss to turn. And then, they can have that feud.
I like Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, like their tag team. They do, come across, very well across each other. Their chemistry and all that. But for me, I feel that the best Nikki Cross was still NXT crazy Nikki, you know.
Yeah.
She was really compelling as a character, and I wish they played off of that. The problem with Alexa Bliss right now is, I don't know whether you agree with me, and you know, we said before in previous episodes that Alexa Bliss has kind of taken a step back, let Nikki shine a bit more. But I feel like she's cruising, you know, in cruise control, and she's not doing anything for character right now.
Yeah, she's sort of like hit that, you know, okay, I'm just going to hover here for a bit and then I'll give the shine to Nikki Cross. But I feel like she needs to elevate Nikki Cross somehow.
Yeah, like there's a bit more gas that she needs to get out of Nikki.
Yeah.
And the only way that can escalate, I really think they need to feud with each other. That's the only way.
Like
they
that
really
whole friendship gone wrong type of deal. But then again, it's like the whole pairing in itself is like, oh, when are they going to break up? When are they going to break up? And I feel like there hasn't been enough of a build for them to break up yet. I think they need to go through some shit as a team.
They need to. Or another cool way of going about it is Alexa Bliss has been playing the long game all along.
But to what benefit? You know, it's not like Alexa Bliss has won championships with Nikki Cross because of Nikki Cross.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
What I had in mind, if it was me booking it, if Alexa Bliss finally wins the title against Bayley, imagine, she finally wins it, and then like it's like the all-conquering hero managed to vanquish Bayley, and Nikki Cross is just there celebrating like, oh, you did it, and she turns around, she smiles, and she whack her on the head with the belt.
I don't need you.
Me. Yeah, I got the title back. Screw you, screw our partnership. Oh, that would be damn awesome. That would be a great way for her to return as a heel.
Correct. But let's face it, you know that's a lie. If you could book Alexa Bliss, you would book an angle where she'd be making out with you every day. Anyway. Like Vince McMahon style with Sable. Huh? Am I wrong?
Or Trish Stratus, is it?
Trish Stratus, yes.
Bro, I don't need to make it an angle, bro. That one, backstage.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway.
WWE backstage.
Remember, all this is non-canon. Anyway.
Non-canon, yeah.
Yes, we're all very happily attached. Anyway. Like I said, not much to talk about this match. So let's move on. Then the next thing wasn't even a match. Okay, Apollo Crews is still injured. And here's the big question. Is he injured, legit injured? And if he is legit injured, then why even promote this match?
Yep.
Right? If they are... I feel like it's a watch and see situation with Apollo Crews. Because
I'm very curious because I have heard rumblings that it could be COVID related.
Yeah, so have I. So it's like, if it's COVID related, then you should obviously scrap this match already and not even promote it. So I don't understand why this thing has been promoted and then obviously nothing happened. Like MVP shows up. Oh, he's not here. I win by forfeit. Ha ha. So MVP is the new US champ.
The problem with WWE is they do not enforce their rules well.
Yeah.
What happened to the 30-day that you have to defend? If you don't defend, you have to
Brock Lesnar became the Universal Champion and that rule flew straight out the window.
Yeah, they screwed it up. But imagine if they make the effort to enforce their rules.
Yeah.
If a title can't be defended by the champion, it must be stripped away. Then it will make sense within their storyline.
Yep.
Then it's fine. Like if MVP were to declare himself a champion right now, it makes complete sense because right now there is all this confusion.
Correct.
It's because WWE created this system of confusion.
Because they are trying to what if, like deal with the what ifs. And here's the thing, like that's exactly it, right? With rules should always be enforced. So it's not that because we want to be picky or anal about it. It's so that the heels have something to work around, you know? Yeah. And that's one of the biggest issues we had with AEW when it first started. It's like everyone was jumping out, like 10 count, 20 count, 100 count, so don't care.
The tag teams, right?
Yeah. So if there are no rules, then the heels can't be heels by breaking the rules. This is a similar situation in that if you are just playing fast and loose with the rules, then okay, so anybody can be I'm the champ now because this fella hasn't shown his face, and they're just making shit up as they go.
Yeah. So in my opinion, in terms of rules and all that, if they enforce it, like you said, then there's an opportunity for the heels to break the rules.
Yeah,
there
and
is
then,
a story.
Yes, then they can write stories around the rules. I feel like now that there is no rules, it's like, oh, okay, then like, what are you doing? You know?
Yeah. I was listening to a recent episode of Talk is Jericho where he interviewed long-time referee, the one that just got fired. Suddenly left my mind. Mike Chioda, yeah.
Mm.
Mike Chioda. And he was and he told a very cool story about how Vince McMahon actually told him, like, your job is to enforce the rules. If you need to count them out. Treat it like like it's a real thing, lah.
Yeah,
If you have to make a pin, for certain circumstances, you have to do it, and I'll back you up no matter what. Like Vince McMahon is basically championing, the enforcement of these rules and treating the referees like legitimate referees.
Yes.
So if they were to call things as legitimate, we will be bought into it. The
Correct.
sports entertainment part will get sucked into it. So it's really, really good, lah. I love it when how referees used to be such a big part of the show, because of recent rulings. Now they don't want to even mention referee names, but there used to be referee names that we memorize because they're such an important part of a certain storyline.
I think referees are best when they are not seen or heard until it is absolutely necessary. When the bad guys make, twist the rules or bend the rules, then then they should come into play. But if not, keep them out of the way.
You know what I really like? Okay, there's one thing I like that WWE does. They purposely choose very short referees.
So that they can be distracted somehow, so that the taller ones can cheat.
No, not that. Just so that the visual, I love the visual when like two huge, tall wrestlers like go one-on-one and then they got the referee in the middle, like looking up at both of them.
Yeah.
So cute.
Yeah, like the whole, like the ref cannot be beefier and look more impressive than the wrestlers. Your wrestlers look bad. That's why, I don't know if you noticed this, but a lot of their backstage interviewers are also not very big.
Very short, right?
They're super short because by comparison, all the wrestlers look tremendously huge next to them.
Yeah, they can't have like a male announcer or like a male backstage interview that's more intimidating than the wrestlers.
Yeah, can you imagine the backstage guy looks like The Rock, and then he's like interviewing freaking Rey Mysterio, is like looking down.
Maybe that's why he asked coach to put on some weight.
Oh yeah,
when coach first came in, he was pretty jacked.
Yeah, then make him look a bit pudgier, a bit like, he cannot fight.
Yeah.
That's probably it. Your like support guys cannot look more impressive than the stars. The stars need to look the most impressive.
Yeah. Even say if you have kind of a cool look about you, you will never become a backstage interviewer. You'll be a commentator at most.
Correct. Yeah, or some sort of like a host of a special show or something like that. Yeah. Exactly.
You talk about the Todd Grishams of the world, the Josh Matthews.
Yeah. They have to be quite vanilla.
And which is weird because the whole Chris Jericho joke where he couldn't tell the difference between Tom Phillips and Mike Rome.
Yeah. Well, but that's the whole point. You see, they need to be vanilla because they are not the star of the show. They are there to facilitate the star of the show. Anyway, we got sidetracked. MVP did a great job on the mic as usual. We've talked about MVP having a renaissance right now.
Yeah, love it. Love the hurt business.
Unfortunately, Bobby Lashley looks like a bit of his bitch, like just standing there. Yeah.
Kind of like the bodyguard. Yeah.
Right. Okay, whatever. Like maybe he paid him. I don't know. Anyway, it'd be kind of cool if he was like, okay, we are co-US champions or something, but whatever lah.
He's so weird because like a month ago he was like the hottest thing against Drew McIntyre, and now he's like.
Now they realize MVP actually he's quite hot in terms of his promo work. Give him the title. So I don't know. Does this mean a face turn for Bobby Lashley when he finally breaks up with MVP and then?
I want them to keep the faction for a while more, man. I'm really enjoying the Hurt business.
Yeah.
Especially in Raw, they recruited Shelton Benjamin already.
Who is the 24/7 champ, so now they have 2 belts. So
Yeah, so it's a pretty... I really think that this faction can carry to the world title scene.
Yeah, I think so. Because they have the talent that can perform, but they just don't have the talent that can cut hot promos. But now with MVP, he just needs to be their mouthpiece.
Any situation that makes Shelton Benjamin look like a star, I'm all down for it, man. He deserves it.
About 10 years too late, but yeah, I agree with you. Okay, next up. Oh boy, here we go. This is the one.
Oh, is it?
Seth Rollins versus Rey Mysterio, eye for an eye match.
Okay, can I make a confession, bro?
What's that?
I didn't watch the match at all, except for the ending.
What? Okay.
Yeah, because for me, when I started watching, it was playing live, right? I just missed out on the match. It was really like the next match afterwards. And then I went to rewatch back. And I just scrolled through all the way until I wanted to just see the ending of the Rey Mysterio except for this match.
Well, here's the thing, okay? This is a classic case of the WWE booking themselves, not into a hole. They booked them, not into a corner. They booked themselves straight up into a hole, 6 foot deep hole. Because First of all, you started this whole feud with Seth Rollins disabling Rey Mysterio's eye in the ring steps. So technically, you've already done the blinding.
Yep.
That's how this whole feud started. So the fact that they went with the exact same way of ending the feud, or him doing what his dastardly did, is like, we've seen this already. Okay?
Yep.
And here's the thing. It's Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio. They went out there and had a good match. Okay, there were a few points which dragged on because they were trying to do the whole poke the eye, dig the eye out thing. They got handicapped by the match stipulation. And then the finish was the big issue here, of course. So everyone's like, okay, what are they going to do? Are they going to CGI? Is the eye going to fly out? Worst case scenario, they went for the worst case scenario. It was a prop eye, right? And here's the issue as well. When I had to watch this twice, the first time I watched it, I didn't see the prop eye. I don't know if you noticed it. No. It looked like he just pushed his face against the ring steps, and then and then the commentator, it's out, right? And then Seth Rollins proceeds to take a look, and then he's so grossed out, he vomits. I get it. It's all a visual. And I don't know why people online, they were talking about, we didn't want to see Seth Rollins vomit. I'm like, they're just playing their roles. And we have to, the positive, let's start with the positives. Let's give it up for them. They tried their best. God damn it. They fucking tried their best to pull this shit off, right? But they got shit to pull off. It was like, oh my God. So, Seth threw up. He was so turned off by it. They're trying to tell the story about how gruesome the injury is without showing you the injury, because that's theater of the mind. That's using your imagination. I appreciate what they did there. But they already, like I said, did the whole thing with Rey Mysterio's eye in the corner of the steel steps. And on that Raw, it was bleeding from the mask. That actually looked more gruesome.
Yeah.
Because in this one, what they did was they did the whole eye push thing. And I don't know about the physics of the eye, but I think if you push someone's eye into a sharp corner, wouldn't it go in and not pop out? The physics of that didn't make sense, but never mind. Let's say the thing popped the fucking eye out, whatever, right? Let's say it's physically possible. I don't know if you notice, if you watch it a second time and put it in real slow-mo, there's literally half a second or 1 second where you can see Rey's glove and there is a prop eyeball, a plastic eyeball with red color like blood, and he's.
Do you think by the time
like that?
By the time I watch it again, will they edit it out? Is it too brief that they can do that?
It's out there. It's on the internet. In fact, you don't even need to watch it again. You can go on the internet and find it. It's literally 1 second of him holding his eyeball. So I feel like they wanted to do something gruesome, but then they also wanted to play it safe at the same time. So they give you a glimpse, literally a 1 second. His eye, but if you look at the clip of it, it looks like a plastic eyeball. It looks like a plastic eyeball. There was no blood.
What would have been a great pay-per-view in terms of the match stipulations that they should have included in this particular event? They need to have a buried alive match. They need to have make use of this horror stipulation in a cool way. This is a very weird, clunky way of using the stipulation.
Yeah, it's a stipulation that they cannot deliver on. Even an Inferno match, you can set somebody on fire. They just have to. Actually, they did set somebody on fire in this pay-per-view, right? So, maybe not an Inferno match, but a stipulation where you have to remove something from a human being, I don't think they should have gone there in the first place.
They need to have a precedent that they've managed to pull off already. This eye for an eye match, I know they're selling the novelty of it. And the fact that, I wonder how is it going to do it. But obviously, let's all be real. They didn't deliver. Under-delivered. They promised too much.
Yeah, they cannot deliver. That's the thing. Unless you actually pull somebody's eye out, nobody fucking wants to see that in real life, right? So they give you the impression that happened, but in doing so, they give you this it didn't live up to it. They could not live up to it. It's not a matter of they didn't live up to it. It's an impossible task, and they literally buried themselves in a hole.
Yeah.
Not the performers. I'll say that again. Not the performers. It's the writing staff or whoever came up with this idea. And the problem is they did it already on Raw. And to me, the Raw one was more gruesome because there was blood. This one, no blood, just the idea that the eye popped out.
It's such a shame. We know, Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio are great performers, and they were having a kick-ass match.
Yeah,
in the lead up to it.
Like, a part of me wants to give them credit for trying something because we, as wrestling fans, sometimes we can be like, oh, give me something new. It's the same old shit, same old shit. So they gave us something new. But now here we are shitting all over something new,
But I wouldn't complain to the fans and say that, we are just asking too much or we are demanding too much. It's really logical booking. If you can't deliver an eye coming out, don't book that shit. Like, that's really just the end of the story,
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, and we know Rey Mysterio is apparently wrestling without a contract. So I guess this ties up, his involvement with Seth. Hopefully Seth moves on. I don't know about Dominic. I don't know, will Dominic avenge his father? But
see, here's the thing.
We shall see.
Everyone wanted to see the Dominic story. Dominic joined Seth somehow. So why didn't they go with that? Is it because Rey is not resigning and they're like, okay, if Rey doesn't resign, that means Dom doesn't resign or what? Like, I don't understand. Like, why didn't they go with the story everyone wants to fucking see?
It would have been a great, it would have been something interesting that came out of the event that people would be talking about.
Yeah.
If they had gone down that road.
Yeah.
Instead, we are complaining about something that, it could have been great, but
could have been great. I don't think it would have been great. It was just a lose-lose situation for the performance. They're like, oh shit, this is what we have to do. Somebody's eye needs to come out.
The novelty of watching that probably sold a couple of the pay-per-views by rate, probably.
No, but okay, here's the thing. Fine. But that's like, you catch the audience, but then they're going to leave with a sour taste in their mouth and they're going to be like, oh, what is this WWE? This is some hokey bullshit circus act. I don't want to watch it again. So you lose future viewers and you might lose some of your current viewers as well. So I thought this was just, oh man, if you just gave them like a ladder match or I don't fucking know, barbed wire match even would have worked.
Even a barbed wire, you can bleed for real and at least there is the element of violence.
Yeah, not and I don't know. It's like I don't want to see anybody get hurt, but I also don't want some fake ass eyeball.
Picture this visual, bro. You talk about the barbed wire on the steel bat, right? Imagine Seth Rollins do a curb storm to Rey Mysterio on the barbed wire.
Yeah.
That would have been a badass ending. And
then have him actually blade in the mask or have blood capsule, right? And then like he's pouring blood out of his mask, maybe. That would have been cool. Yeah. No, it's out. It's out. And then one bloody plastic. Okay, you know what? Can we just WWE should never do anything which involves extracting body parts, chopping off anything. At most, chop hair. Hair can. Everything else, no. Stop it.
Just draw a line under it, okay?
Yeah, no tongue pulling out. No fucking remove the toenail mat. Actually, toenail maybe can.
Ouch. That legit hurts.
Yeah, no. So, okay, just shave head. That's it. Okay? Other tips.
Stay out of body parts.
Yeah, stay out. No more extraction of body parts. Thank you very much. Woo. Okay. And then, as if the booking wasn't shit enough, we go to Asuka versus Sasha Banks. This time, of course, we got Kairi Sane and we got Bayley in their corners.
The long and short of it about this match, the match itself, I would say it's an A match. It was also like I was super hooked. I love everything about the transitions. They have great chemistry. And I love something about Sasha recently, right? Have you realized that she's been wrestling a very Japanese style of a match?
Is it because of her time in Japan? Training with who?
Wait. I'm not saying this because of our conversation with Greg last week. But when I say she wrestles like a very Japanese, female Japanese wrestler style, is that her transitions and like the way she attacks a match, there's no 5 moves of doom and then she goes into like a bank statement,
Yeah.
Like the way she uses the ring is super innovative. I love her transitions, how she counters like some of Asuka's, like when she was going for a submission and she countered it and did like a pin.
Yep.
Like that, it's just so smooth. So
it feels like she has renewed energy lah. It just feels like, for the longest time, I don't think she was a bad worker. I think she just had like she was tired of it or she was
motivation problems lah.
Yeah, motivation, exactly. So now she seems more motivated. Okay.
But I don't blame her though. Like other than Charlotte, there wasn't anyone that probably was on her level in terms of in her mind. Like I don't think I can have a kick-ass match with these girls. But recently she's been working with who? Kairi Sane, Asuka. So it would be
So,
natural, for her
okay,
to be more motivated.
do you think this finish is so that they can have a return match on Raw to pop the Raw ratings, to give it something compelling, like, because
That's exactly what happened, though.
yeah, if this was a definitive finish, Asuka wins or Sasha Banks wins, then well, I guess you could argue for a rematch, right? But no, they gave us this sort of a fart in church finish where
So basically, Bailey kind of wore the shit, right?
yeah.
Wore the referee shirt. There was a whole confusion with Asuka throwing the green mist, and it got
hit
into the
the
referee's
ref.
eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously we know that doesn't mean anything lah. So it's a schmoz lah. Technically it's a non-finish. That's what the match was.
Yes, but the confusion that was caused was because when Bailey counted to 3, Sasha Banks took the title and walked away with it. So
correct.
Everyone assumed like, oh, I guess the title changed hands.
Yeah, but I mean, most wrestling fans know better lah. And here's my problem. Maybe it was the placement of it, because it was like 2 bullshit endings back to back. One with the fake eye and then this bullshit ending. So maybe that's what made it even worse.
It really turned you off lah.
Yeah, it was like, oh. Like I said, the match itself was great. 2 great workers let down by some bullshit planning or bullshit booking.
I do want to see the novelty of the 2-woman power trip.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty dope.
And okay, I guess we can talk a little bit about Raw. So it's been decided, Stephanie McMahon showed up on Raw saying, yeah, you didn't win the title. This is not your title, but you did, Asuka didn't pin you. So next week on Raw, we're going to see Asuka versus Sasha Banks for the title. This time, though, nobody can interfere, because interference means you lose the title as well. So
in my mind, like, I feel that I'm not against them continuing the feud. I would love to see them have a kick-ass match, but in a way, that makes me not want to revisit Extreme Rules Horror Show again.
Yeah,
it's just a bunch of filler.
Yeah, it is, and unfortunately, like we talked about, a lot of WWE right now is holding pattern.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So okay, so we have that match.
Yeah, trust us, man. It's so hard to watch WWE right now, and this is coming from like a legit crazy ass fan.
Yeah, we are marks for the WWE, like, at the end of the day, and I'll still watch. It's just that every day is like testing your patience, right? Yeah.
It's like loving your child, right now.
Yeah, what?
Such a deep,
Whoa. Okay, let's move on to the WWE Championship match. Extreme Rules. Okay, this was interesting, and I think we both agree this was the best match by far in terms of booking. Okay, Drew McIntyre versus Dolph Ziggler coming into this match. The whole stipulation was there was going to be a stipulation. Dolph wouldn't tell Drew what the stip was until right before the bell rings.
Yep.
And
which such a brilliant heel move.
Yeah, and the stipulation was that it was an Extreme Rules match, but only for Dolph. So if Drew broke the rules, like, use a chair or whatever, he would be disqualified and lose the title. So it was a very interesting, I feel like almost it's like they came up with this idea themselves. I don't trust WWE booking to have come up with this. I feel like they were like, hey, okay, can we do something that isn't too extreme? Because everyone else is doing some extreme weird shit already. So theirs is extreme, yes, but it's a very normal thing for the WWE audience. Oh, it's a no-hold-barred match, but only for one person. So I think it was a cool idea.
Yeah, I really like the reveal. When he revealed the stipulation, I didn't think, oh, that's dumb or that's stupid.
Yeah,
like I was like, smart move.
Yeah.
Let's see what Dolph does with this. And as always, he basically like freaking low blowed him lah.
Yeah,
whack him with chairs, made him go through tables. And the cool thing is, as like if you're a hot-blooded Scotsman like Drew McIntyre, a sexy Scotsman, he would get super pissed off. Like the natural reaction, he would have lost his temper.
Yeah.
He might attack him, and that's also to his detriment. He will lose the title. So both ways is very smart that Dolph incorporated that.
It played into the psychology of the match. Everything made sense. The only issue I have with this is it made Dolph look like the biggest jobber in the universe, when even with that stipulation, he also cannot win. So why is he even challenging for the WWE Championship? You know, like we've talked about this before. Dolph is like mini boss, never the end boss, right? And then now, even worse, he seems like one of the regular non-player characters that show up and you kill in a video game, and that's it. Like, you know, like at this point, is there any value in Dolph Ziggler as a threat?
The ending was dope though. That's something I have to admit. When Dolph Ziggler was tuning up the band and going for the switching music, and
he ate the Claymore.
Yeah, Drew McIntyre kept I did the Claymore, and that it got me thinking though. What if Dolph Ziggler had actually said Extreme Rules match, and on top of that,
no Claymore.
Drew McIntyre, bans is banned from using the Claymore. I think that would have been awesome, because I do want to see how Drew, because he relies on it too much. I don't want it to become like a crutch, you know. There was a period where, to me Randy Orton's RKO got very boring.
Overdone .
Yeah, because I think that was when he was like a face. And he's always he has his own 5 moves of doom.
Correct.
I can even name it right now. When people probably realize it, like he will have his clothesline, and he duck, then he does his power slam, scoop slam, and then throws the guy into the ropes, do the hangman DDT, and after that set up for the RKO. So just that all the way. But somewhere along the lines, I think he added a few more cool moves into his arsenal. Angle slam. He just basically like changes it around, and the RKO didn't become so telegraphed. It didn't become so expected. And that's my problem with the Claymore. Claymore is a badass, awesome finisher. Love it.
Well, the problem is when he turned face, he made it into a whole countdown thing. I don't know if you notice it. He does the 3, 2, 1, which is great for crowd interaction. But yeah, it becomes very like much a telegraph move. So the fact that he pulled it off in this match with no 3, 2, 1, he just hits it. I thought that was and I guess it makes sense, but it still makes Dolph Ziggler look like a complete bitch. I mean, I would like it if he kind of won the match using his Future Chop DDT, which was his previous finisher. But he's not using it as like a trademark move. But like I just think that because of his power and how much of a stud he is, there's an opportunity to showcase more power moves, but he keeps using his athletic moves instead of his power game. Correct. Well, I mean, maybe he wants to stand out. Like maybe he just doesn't want to be that big, power wrestler. So like we said, the match itself was a really smart, good psychology match. We move on to Raw, of course, where Drew is like, okay, I've moved on. I want a next challenge for SummerSlam. And then Dolph comes out and it's like, no, one more match. Give me one more match. Basically whined and bitched about it. And so
that made him look pathetic. That's the thing that kill it for me. Because like the match itself was badass, but when he came out, he kept begging, and the way he begged the match was like, yeah, you ain't got shit after this, man. You're gonna go down the card after this.
Yeah, maybe that's the whole point. To have him be this whiny, like you don't deserve it, but he still got the match anyway, right? And it's going to be Drew McIntyre decides the stipulation match. So I guess this is just a way to drag the feud on a little bit more before they figure out who Drew is going to face for SummerSlam. I don't think this is going to be a SummerSlam match, right?
No, I don't think so. Very interesting comments made by Booker T recently on his podcast, Hall of Fame podcast. He was saying, like, the reason why Dolph Ziggler is in his position now was when he was younger, he was more concerned and fixated with stealing the show and becoming like, Shawn Michaels, I want to have the best match on the card. I want to have the most kick-ass, party. I don't care whether I win or lose and all that. But he said, right, if he was a bit more selfish, like a Roman Reigns, and if he cared more about his career, he didn't care so much about stealing the show, who have become a multiple-time world champion. And he likened him to Shawn Michaels when he was saying that, Shawn Michaels, the problem with Shawn Michaels, we don't remember Shawn Michaels for his number of world title reigns. We know him as Mr. WrestleMania, the moments that he created. But end of the day, he only have won 4 world titles.
Right.
And 2 of it was schmoz. So it's like basically Dolph Ziggler went down the route where he could have been racking up the title wins, but he cared so much about, I don't care which position the company puts me at, I'm just going to do the best that I can. And that makes turn him inadvertently into a utility man.
Correct, yeah. So, but the thing is, and maybe this just goes to their characters as well. You know, Shawn Michaels was a utility man for sure. He was a show stealer, but he was also a diva. And he played the backstage shit. Whereas maybe I think Dolph doesn't. He just wants to go out there and steal the show, which is great. And like you said, it basically made him too reliable already. Oh, just slot him anywhere. He will help push the other guy. He will help push the guy. And here's the thing. Maybe Dolph is okay with that. And we can be here saying, oh, this makes him look bad. Because we want him, you know, like I said before, I met him before. He's a super nice guy. And maybe we want more. We want to see him succeed, become world champion again. But maybe he's okay with this. Maybe he's like, oh, shit, yeah. And this is probably another way to write him off. Like, loser leaves town match again, which he's done like several times, by the way. So maybe he's just going to take a break again and go and do his comedy stuff and chill.
I guess so, because like if he's gonna leave Raw, go back to SmackDown. He was just from SmackDown.
Traded, yeah. Oh yeah.
There's nothing much to do.
So I'm pretty sure the stip will be if you lose, you have to like fuck off. Yeah. And then, of course, he's going to take a break and then come back a few months later. I'm here to show the world. And then he's going to, Dolph Ziggler's back after 6 months.
The only thing that Dolph has right now that is going for him is he has that, what's that word? He has that, the crowd, he and him has built such a relationship with the crowd where we can accept him. Yeah. Like if he comes back, become a world title challenger. Yeah. We'll be like, oh, okay, Dolph is back.
No, and he, I think he has the respect of the wrestling fans as well. That, okay, you know, we know that he's put in the work, he's been here a long time. So even if they hotshot him to the championship level, people are like, okay, you know, he might not.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, he might not have been around for a while, but he's a former champion and we know he can go in the ring. It'll be interesting. So,
we all know what's going to happen next, right? With Drew. It has to be Drew versus Randy.
Oh, right, for SummerSlam?
Yeah, for SummerSlam, I don't see any other heel out there that is making waves on Raw.
Yeah, that's true. And of course, talking about Raw, might as well talk about it now since we're talking about it. Randy punt-kicked Big Show, killing another legend.
Yep.
I mean, was that a surprise? We knew that was coming, right? That was the whole point of bringing Big Show back.
You know what was a surprise though?
What?
I actually watched the main event, Randy versus Big Show. I didn't get bored.
Oh.
So I guess Randy has just been such on form this year. If you realize if you watch him right now, he's actually quite shredded now, bro.
Oh yeah.
He got back in more shape than he was like the last couple of years.
I wonder if it's because of the whole Edge thing and then he's reinvigorated. Like Sasha Banks, he's like got the motivation now for whatever reason.
Which doesn't that make Edge's comments ring even more true? He said that I always bring out the best in Randy.
Could be. And then this whole Big Show thing, you know, Big Show has always been sort of in the background. Can I come back? I feel like he just always wants to have 1 or 2 matches, you know, which is great, you know.
Come for like a couple of weeks, do an angle, put someone over and
then disappear. Yeah, and then now he's obviously going to be out for a while after getting kicked in the head.
Yeah. So, but why I found that match really, really interesting, I love how Randy sold for Big Show a lot. Like it wasn't like Randy was just dominating Big Show. And do you see his finisher, how he did the RKO and how high he jumped for it?
Right. Because of Big Show's height.
Yeah, damn athletics,
Yeah, wow.
So good for him.
Then the question is, if he goes up against Drew, right? Do they put Drew over and make Drew this all-conquering hero? Or hand the title to give Randy one more run and then have Edge come back and they challenge?
I'm fine with both occasions, but I would like to propose a third possibility.
Okay.
Hear me out. Imagine he's almost winning the title, or he's on the cusp of winning the title, and then who comes in to interfere?
Edge.
Not Edge.
Christian.
So Christian becomes the bitch that, you know,
bitch.
Screws the asshole in the sense that screws over Randy.
Yeah.
And then like after that, he challenges Randy for like, I'm gonna come back for one more match. And it has to be a pay-per-view match because I don't mind Christian returning just for like a one-off thing.
But is Christian even cleared to wrestle? That's the thing. Like he said many times, he's not cleared. He's not gonna come back.
I don't know. But like this, I don't know if this is more wishful thinking than anything, but I feel that the only way Randy and Drew can have their match and where both still come out strong is that it needs to have an interference.
Yeah, and is it going to be Edge doing the interfering though? Like setting up their third match? It cannot be, right? Because it seems a bit cheap.
he's still injured. He can't do anything physical. So I'm thinking along the lines of his injury timeline. He won't appear on TV until the end of the year.
Right.
At the very least.
Well, and okay, that's also good because it gives time to clear up the whole COVID situation, hopefully. And then by next year's WrestleMania, they can have that big final match.
Only person that makes sense to me is Christian. To continue the feud, to prolong it.
Right. Okay, that makes sense as well.
Yeah.
Okay, then we move on to the, I guess, main event. Non-title swamp fight between Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman. Okay, I know you were a bit on the fence about this match. Have you gotten a chance to watch it a second time?
Yep, I
did.
did.
Change? Is it a yay or nay?
I got a couple of things to say about it, but I'm curious to hear your dissection of the match first.
The thing is, after watching it, right, I was like, I didn't care, and that's the worst thing you could do in terms of it felt like the storyline did not progress.
Yeah,
it's like, I don't know lah, or maybe I'm just being too picky. Okay, and here's the thing. I think this whole cinematic match thing has been done way too much already, which is way too much. Remember, we talked about if they brought this out once or twice a year, that's fine. But now, so far since WrestleMania, we've had Boneyard, we've had the Firefly Funhouse, we had the NXT Tommaso Ciampa and Gargano match, we've had Money in the Bank. Yep. Okay, let's not even count the greatest wrestling match of all, because that one was just a regular wrestling match with enhancements.
The Street Profits and Vikings.
Oh God, yes, that 5 in like such a short span. I'm like, okay, I think I've had enough of it already. And this was like the icing on the cake. It's like, okay, like Braun is not a very good actor. I don't think he pulled it off. And then there were random people that were fighting him. And then, okay, there was that guy that he threw into the fire. He was obviously a stunt man.
Yep.
Who the hell is he? Like,
his Power Rangers, bro. This is all his servants, his goons.
Like some random jabroni. Like, why wasn't he wearing a sheep mask or something? No, it was just some guy. I was like, what? It seemed like a very cheap B-grade horror movie, and not even B-grade, C-grade, because I like B-grade horror movies. I watch B-grade. Like if you look at my Blu-ray collection over there, there's a lot of garbage. I enjoy B-grade horror movies, and I don't even think this is good enough.
Oh man. Okay, I can start by saying the things that I like about it.
Okay.
I did.
I know. Alexa Bliss showing up as the Temptation. Okay, like what was that about? I get it. Like what? He's just messing with his mind. Like, are they going to actually go somewhere with this? Like, is Alexa going to suddenly show up on SmackDown? Like, hey, what was that hallucination about? Huh? You got a thing for me, or what? Or is
it would have been cool. It would have been cool if they continued it. But I'm more leaning towards, I think WWE is making that like an isolated thing.
Yeah.
It's just a one-off. Okay, what I like about it was, Alexa Bliss, don't need to say lah. We all love Alexa Bliss. But I like that it was trying to be something different. Because I didn't know it was they wanted to be more Boneyard, where they wanted to be more Firefly Funhouse.
Yeah.
And then I came to the conclusion that it was actually a bit of both.
Yes, yeah. You're right.
It had like the whole metaphysical, psychological kind of trappings that Bray Wyatt is known for by now. It had like the physicality of the Boneyard. So I give them credit for not like using the two templates and trying to make it its own. Like I can't say it's fully Boneyard. And they make good use to me of the psychological aspect of Bray Wyatt. Like for me, to be honest, right, bro, towards the end of the Bray Wyatt Eater of Worlds run, I was super bored by him. Like he's rambling lah. He's like he just wasn't a threat. He was just someone who just talked a lot, but there wasn't a threat. But this particular match brought back to me lah, like not say my fear for Bray Wyatt, that character, but like the appeal of that Bray Wyatt character. Because this Bray Wyatt character can do something that the Fiend / Funhouse can't do. It can be threatening, but as Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
As like the person, like because of his rhetoric and all that.
Yeah, like he's a creepy motherfucker lah. But okay, that I agree with all that, but the problem is, in terms of booking, he hasn't been booked to be a threat. Like you just said, he's spewing all this rhetoric. He'll mind fuck you, but then at the end of the day, he still lose. Like,
Did he though?
okay, so the ending, he, what was that? Braun threw him into the water.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he came out with the mandible claw, pulled him into the water turned red.
Yeah.
And then the Fiend came out, ha 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 ha, let me in, ha ha. Oof. So
The way you describe it sounds so like I don't give a fuck.
yeah, well, that's exactly what happened. I was like,
Yeah.
It felt like another wet fart. Like,
So okay, I can tell you the other thing I like about it. The other thing I like about it, I like how it was. The whole point of, if you think about it, right, the whole point of the Swarm fight was, it was trying to get Braun Strowman to come home.
sure.
So that's the whole. I think that's the whole message they're trying to put across. So Bray Wyatt lets him revisit all these things that is in the past, and idea was there, execution wasn't.
No,
it's such a shame.
Yeah. Okay. Why do you say that the execution wasn't there?
Okay, because there's a couple of elements that they should have included to make this really all about, Braun Strowman coming back. Okay, remember there was one of the earlier scenes where Braun Strowman faced off against old Braun Strowman.
Oh, that one was... okay, fine. In the context of like metaphysical, like weird funhouse shit, I get it, but...
Yeah. The thing is, there wasn't enough of those callback elements that made the Firefly Funhouse really compelling into here. Like I said, I know they can't do it, but they should have had like a Luke Harper cameo. They should have had a freaking Eric Rowan cameo. Even if it's like wax figures or it's like from their back view, we cannot see the face, but it's some other actor.
Get some guy to wear a beard and put on the mask. You can't tell already.
Yeah, like that would have been really, really cool. Instead of him wrestling with his old self, he wrestled with them,
Yeah.
Or like use like old footage, I don't know, some hologram shit. They've done hologram shit before in Hell in a Cell, remember?
Have they? When did they do hologram shit?
Remember when Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins in 2014 had the Hell in a Cell match, and then suddenly Bray Wyatt appeared with a lantern and then like a hologram image of him in the middle of the ring?
Why do I not remember this at all?
2014. Do you not watch WWE during 2014?
I need to Google this shit. Got hologram,
Okay, you just Google Hell in a Cell 2014 on YouTube, Bray Wyatt.
Okay, I'll do it later.
Yeah. You can learn that and check it out on your own time. But basically, what I'm trying to say is, there is so much, because the mythology of Bray Wyatt and the Swarm thing has kind of grown to the point where it's deep enough to have cool Easter eggs. If they... Okay, it was cool that they teased Sister Abigail and then revealed that it was Alexa, which is cool. If they had the tease of the Wyatt compound suddenly appearing, that would have been cool. If they had like the tease of... The problem with Braun Strowman is, right, he only had 1 year in the Wyatt family.
Correct.
Quite brief. Then after that, he started building his own legacy already.
Yeah.
So if they had kind of told the story of Braun Strowman in his past in a very compelling way, I would have bought into it, other than the Eric Rowan, other than the Sister Abigail, blah blah, which was cool. The snake was damn random.
Oh right, yeah.
But actually, when I thought about it a bit more, it wasn't random.
Didn't he mention something about a snake? Yeah.
Remember in his, like, he had the initial promo where he talked, where it was just him cutting the promo on SmackDown. He talked about how there was a snake that struck Bray Wyatt and then he just laughed
it off.
Like
Yeah. So there was a callback there, but even then.
Yeah, but the thing is, it wasn't. I really had to think about it, and then it wasn't so obvious, so in your face, which is okay. I can respect. The some of the other elements that he added was just too random. Like the guy fucking burning for no reason. What the fuck?
So who is that guy? Some random... He's just sweeping the road there.
The face like some security from WWE or some shit.
I mean, he's obviously a stuntman lah. We know that, but at least give him a mask to wear,
So since when Bray Wyatt become Golda from Power Rangers? He got his goons.
Faceless goons.
Yeah, so that didn't make sense in the context of Bray Wyatt. Never had that.
I don't, like, this is the type of stuff I always think to myself, if I were showing this to a non-wrestling fan, what would they think? Would they think this is some hokey ass shit?
Yep.
And Well, I think it was some hokey ass shit. You know, like
Yeah.
at the end, and it was a okay, let's face it, it was a non-conclusive finish, which I think is also an issue because you know how you want everything wrapped up nicely in the bow to end your day, end your show, right? It's like, oh, so he gets dragged down, but he doesn't, and then Fiend shows up, and I guess now they're moving on to the next level, you know, where Braun has to fight the Fiend.
Yeah. The problem with this feud and this particular match, right? We're talking specifically in this context. Braun Strowman as a character, they can't fit what they're trying to fit into Braun Strowman. If it was like a very compelling hero, even like a Jeff Hardy now, or maybe like someone that you want to root for, you will feel his fear going back into this location. You know, you want to root for him. You can see all the agony. But this is Braun Strowman, who's supposed to be like a beast, like a brute. I can't empathize with him.
Yeah.
The only way this would have worked in this home fight is they have done like a Incredible Hulk in Avengers 2. Okay, I give you the context, okay? Remember how in Avengers 2 in Ultron, I think the Hulk was mind controlled by not Thanos, sorry, by Loki. Oh no, was it not? Was it Ultron? Basically, he mind controlled him and then he fought with the Hulkbuster with Iron Man.
No, it was Scarlet Witch. That
was it Scarlet Witch that controlled him?
Messed with his mind, yes.
Yeah. So and then after that whole thing, then Bruce Banner basically got super scared, right? And then by the end of the movie, he was saying that, okay, I need to get away because I realized I am like
a threat, so he flew off.
A threat to everyone else. So if they could have unleashed, or Braun Strowman could have been unleashed, or his mind have been bamboozled during the course of the match. So by the end of the match, he transforms. I don't know whether he's under mind control. I know it's hokey, but at least it's a cool and there's some sort of impact that comes out from the match. Like, okay, he didn't just come out and die, or he didn't come out and lose, but he got brainwashed, or he got unleashed, or some shit like that.
I see what you mean. Like Bray Wyatt tricks him into becoming something he isn't, and then he goes on this ridiculous tear in the WWE. I mean, okay, and we're just looking forward now, right? Like if he maybe hurts people by accident and then he feels bad about it. So, like, I see what you mean. Like, you know, with the whole Bruce Banner thing, that could make him a sympathetic character.
It adds another wrinkle to his slayer because now Braun is like the good guy Braun, the Braun Strowman Express and that kind of shit.
Yeah, but it means
Braun
nothing.
The Braun that made us all fall in love with him was the I'm not finished with you. He's like this crazy on a rampage and killing everyone.
Okay.
Imagine he developed that side thanks to Bray Wyatt. Brings out that part, so he have this half split personality.
So technically, we didn't need to see the Fiend, lah. Because right now we are like, I feel like we are okay. Obviously, we are fan booking this shit, right? And I don't think they've thought that far ahead. They are just have the Fiend show up, and then this will logically lead to the Fiend versus Braun Strowman down the road. Yep. Like, I see what you're saying, and how about this as part of the storyline? We include Alexa Bliss. We include the fact that, you know, he loses his shit, and somehow in his rampage he hurts Alexa Bliss. Because we already, you can throw back to the part where, you know, there's that whole weird interaction between him and Alexa, that he actually likes her, or he's, you know, friends with her, close with her, and him in his unleashed state accidentally hurts Alexa Bliss, and this creates that struggle. So then he's like, oh shit, now I have to, like, what the hell is wrong with me? And then he starts losing matches because he's fucked in the head.
Yep. And then basically the Fiend's reappearance is more of to deal the death blow, or like, you know, to be the one that finally takes him down, because like he's already lost all his faculties. Like he's not the 100% Braun, you know. Yeah. So this is so much more compelling if going into SummerSlam he because of the swarm. Yeah. He might have some hallucinations or some like PTSD.
Yeah. So I guess this all hinges on what is to come, lah. So this is the swamp fight was technically where the Boneyard match was the conclusion to a storyline. The swamp fight is more of a building up to the next thing.
Yeah, it's like the first main battle in the middle of the movie. Yeah, the hero took the L, basically.
Yeah. So
if you see within that context and the payoff is great after this, I can I can appreciate it for what it is.
But I think the problem was you lined that up with a whole bunch of shitty finishes as well, and it just seems like a non-finish to a shitty finish pay-per-view. With just finish after finish that was questionable.
Because of that, how they executed it. Even the reappearance of the Fiend didn't make me feel anything. Like, okay.
Right? It felt a bit. I almost preferred it if Braun destroyed Bray Wyatt completely, and then we see the Fiend on SmackDown. Like, okay, fine, you beat Sweater Vest Bray, you beat Eater of Worlds Bray. Now is the last evolution. Can you beat the Fiend?
Yeah, it would have been like a predictable way of going about it, but at least like we won't, shit on the story, like, because the story, it makes perfect sense. Yeah. But now because of this convoluted finish, I feel like it's like okay, this is too obvious. Okay, let's just tear the script and just fucking throw whatever that sticks. I'm not as impressed with this as obviously the Firefly Funhouse, because I felt like there was so much thought put into it. Yeah. This one, nah.
Firefly Funhouse was like for the geek, for the wrestling nerds, like all the Easter eggs, right?
Yeah.
This was just like you said, like I didn't hate this, but I didn't like it as well. At the end of the day, it was just a bad B-grade horror movie fight, and that's it. You don't really take anything away. Like, you get some cool visuals of the Fiend coming out of the water, that kind of shit, but beyond that, it's
could have been so much more lah.
Okay. Yeah. Can we say this would have been fine on an episode of Raw? Yeah. But not a finish for the pay-per-view?
Imagine, bro. Throughout the course of the entire 3 hours of Raw, starting segment, Braun saying, I'm going to the Swamp House and I'm gonna finish this today. So basically, the segments happen recurring throughout the episode.
In between, we cut in. Yeah.
So back in those days, Raw had all these great segments where like it's always a running theme that was happening throughout the night.
Like, remember Austin going to Brian Pillman's house?
Oh yeah, love that.
Like, it was in segments, right? Like, Austin, we hear Austin is, and then it will culminate in the finish right at the end of the show where he would break into the house. I love
that. Another one, Trial of Eric Bischoff.
Oh, yeah. So this actually, now that we've sort of brought it up, this swamp fight, I feel like could have done better as a broken up segment, like several segments on a Raw, or maybe even on the pay-per-view itself. What do you think? If they broke it up and had it at the start, middle,
one thing I use and I really miss a lot about old WWE pay-per-views, right? I feel like a pay-per-view night, it feels like a event. Like I don't know how to describe it in a cool way. Yeah, it feels like a happening.
Correct. It's like something special, like one up from a Raw or one up from a SmackDown.
Yeah. Okay. Give you an example. Maybe I'm just spitballing. Like an old WWE Attitude Era pay-per-view. Like, okay, you know that the main event is gonna be like a Stone Cold versus Triple H or Stone versus The Rock. Yeah. And throughout the night, like you will see Stone Cold talking to Deborah in the locker room. Oh yeah. Throughout the night, like maybe Vince McMahon will knock on the Triple H's door and say, "You better not screw it up, or else." There's that hype that builds up, towards that. And I miss it because in sporting events, that's the thing that gets you hyped. When you have a shot of the behind the scenes, the backstage locker, where like the team is getting ready, or like the fighters being massaged. I feel that big fight vibe coming from that.
Once in a while, they do have that. But yeah, you're right. It doesn't happen nearly enough. And I wonder if it's because now that everything is quote unquote part of the WWE network package anyway. So the motivation, the motivation to make each pay-per-view something special is much less than before. Whereas before, Raw and SmackDown is free, but you had to pay for the pay-per-view. So like, you want me to pay $39.99? You better put on a fucking good main event and build it up to something big, right? Whereas now it's like, I'm already paid my $9.99 or whatever it is for the entire month. Whether I watch it or not, it doesn't matter. So
you already got our money, right?
Yeah, in a sense, the pay-per-views are almost like less valuable than the Raw or SmackDown.
Yeah, because Raw is on live TV. So it's such a weird model. I mean, we can go into an entire episode on the WWE Network, right? But And the reason why I feel AEW pay-per-views, I would shell out money, and even though it's more expensive, is because they build it up so much that every single match, to me, there's a reason behind it. There's fire behind it. It's not, it's not cold.
Because they know that they have to sell the pay-per-view versus, people already bought the pay-per-view. Yeah. Which is what WWE is working with now. Whereas for AEW, it's like, oh shit, we need to sell this pay-per-view. Let's make the main event something happening, must watch.
Yeah. If you want to use a UFC model, right, bro? The most recent, their most recent Fight Night or Fight Island event, Masvidal, right?
Yeah.
Apparently did like 1.2 million views or 1.2 million buys around there. Bro, that is like WrestleMania level.
Right.
And this is pay-per-view buy. So that means on top of the ESPN Plus, people are actually popping out and paying like the pay-per-view buy rate, right? And it got me thinking, bro. Obviously, a lot of people bought that pay-per-view because of the Masvidal and Usman match, right?
Yep.
I realized that as much as WWE wants to say that the company is the star, and that is the more sustainable model, obviously, because you don't want to rely on one star or else.
Yeah.
If the star gets injured, the company gets affected and stuff. But you have to admit, bro, people want to watch something if they are a fan of the athlete or the wrestler or the product or whatever it is.
You still need your stars, your attractions to draw people in. People draw the crowd, not the company.
And it goes back to our earlier, when we were talking about Kevin Owens. If Kevin Owens were in the main event for some reason, like, would people shell out $40 to see Kevin Owens fight?
Well, it would have to be a compelling fight then, because
if it was Kevin Owens versus Chris Jericho at the height of Festival of Friendship, yes, no problem.
Of course,
$49.99. So that's the thing. They have lost the art of making a massive fight. Or promoting a massive fight.
Because they don't have to.
Yeah.
You see, that's the problem. They don't have to because they don't sell pay-per-views anymore. The model is no longer that. It is just we have to do shows in between our Raw and SmackDowns.
KPI lah, basically hit KPI.
Yeah, exactly, right? So I feel like maybe that's the reason why some of the pay-per-views have been a little bit meh, because it just seems like a continuation of Raw and SmackDown as opposed to a big event.
Yeah. So to me, the only personnel or segment that suffers is us as an audience, as a viewer lah. We have to sit through this shit. It's not gone are the days, bro, where I'm counting down the days. Okay, I'll watch Raw. I can't wait for SmackDown. Now I know Raw is happening. I'm like, okay.
Can miss also, it's okay, Anna. Just check out the results after, right? Yeah, no, I totally feel you. Same for SmackDown as well. Okay, NXT and AEW Dynamite, maybe not so bad. I will try to catch it on the day itself.
Yep.
Just so I don't get spoiled.
I will make one more last comparison. With my favorite football team, Liverpool, right? There was a period, right, bro, where I completely didn't watch Liverpool matches at all. That was like in between, like I think you would know who they are, like Torres. You know who's Fernando Torres?
Fernando Torres, of course.
Torres left Liverpool and joined Chelsea. Like early in the decade, there was like a big controversy during that period.
I remember.
And basically Liverpool almost went into administration, almost went bankrupt, and they were in relegation. And then I was thinking, like, am I like a fickle fan? I only support Liverpool when they're successful and all that. Actually, no. It's because there wasn't any star power in that team. Like, there was only a Gerrard.
Oh, right.
And like Gerrard had to carry the whole team on his own.
Yeah.
So it felt like, I don't enjoy the matches. Every time I watch the match, it's like Liverpool might lose, or like, they just do something that pissed me off. It managed to succeed. It succeeded in turning me off, watching football.
Right.
And now I compare it to now, where even though I can watch the result, I can check Bleacher Report, and I can see all the highlights after the show. But I have this compelling need to watch a game live.
Yeah, sure.
So that other than live tweeting or commenting while the game is happening or seeing the goal score, but I just enjoy watching the team.
Yeah, there is an excitement to it because, if you know your team is doing well, they're playing good football.
Yeah.
It's the same for every sport, right?
It's the same for everything.
You either have a really good team or you have a team with a really good superstar. And immediately people, this is the whole Chicago Bulls story, right?
Yeah. And if say you don't have like a superstar, but you love how they play, maybe their teamwork, or their story. Something about it is compelling that if you miss it, you feel like, oh man, I didn't want to. So like, why am I waking up at 3:15? Tonight is like their
Champions
trophy
League?
presentation.
Oh, trophy. Oh.
Yeah, because they won the title already. So this is like the last home match of the season, so they can get the victory. I'm watching it. You know why? I'm very curious how they're gonna do a trophy presentation in an empty stadium.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like WrestleMania for me because like apparently there's like leaked footage of them like it's gonna be like a whole like fireworks show and like a dance party inside, but it's just gonna be them.
With nobody, with just them. Why you? Yeah.
Yeah. So like basically just this must-see feeling that football still has, that UFC has in droves. And UFC, I would dare say, is in like when people say UFC, they think cool.
Yeah.
Even if you're not a fan of fighting, you're like, oh, this is like some sort of cool thing that all the cool kids like.
Well, you see, the thing is, and now we are stepping into that whole debate of real sport versus entertainment again. You know, it's like watching an episode of Raw is more like watching an episode of The Walking Dead.
Yep. Game of Thrones, Walking Dead.
Versus watching a live football match. Like watching a live UFC fight card is more akin to watching football, watching boxing, because it's live sports where it's
okay.
You know.
Fair enough, fair comparison. But if you want to use that comparison, there was a period where Game of Thrones, everyone need to watch the episode when it comes out.
Yeah, sure. Because that was when, the creative was at its best. They've built up the storyline, blah, 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 that kind of thing. So at the end of the day, it has to be compelling. And right now, WWE is just not compelling. There's nothing that makes me wonder, oh my God, I need to go and watch it, and I need to go and watch it live now. Like, what's going to happen on Raw? Like, what happened on Raw? Angel Gaza fought a bunch of people. Like, it's the same old thing over and over again. If I missed it, I don't care.
Yeah. I can't use, like, the pandemic as an excuse anymore because there is still some things that I watch in spite of the pandemic that I cannot miss.
Sure.
You know, like in terms of shows and that kind of stuff. And it's I know officially WWE, the Vince McMahon, Triple H all say that they are building new stars right now. They're in the midst of building new stars. So they need time for them to gain traction with the audience.
But you know that's just a line.
But they gotta give these stars opportunities to succeed.
Correct. Yeah.
They're not.
No, they're just giving them shitty directions and like as much as I realize they've been pushing this Zelina Vega's family or whatever the team is called quite a bit. Like they get a lot of TV time, but for some reason I still don't feel like they're being
any
pushed.
connection towards them.
Yeah, so it's like okay, so it just feels like they are there to fill up time versus they are there to
Honestly, bro, name me 3 people on Raw that you will tune in for. Like, if it's their segment, you will watch.
Like, I wouldn't even say, like Randy, that's about it.
Yeah.
Seth, maybe. I don't know where he goes. Like, from... And here's the thing. On Raw, there was no Dominic. Or I must have missed it if Dominic was there because there
wasn't any.
Yeah, they mentioned Rey and his heinous acts, right? But Aleister Black came out to, take revenge. But like that shit has been done to death, and there's nothing new.
Yeah.
So like, even then, like Seth, he's doing really good work. I feel like watching it, I have nothing to like say bad about his work. But I don't want I'm watching it because I have to watch it because I have to talk about it. But
because you want to.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like
okay, I'll give 3 people that I still always keep track of what they're doing. I want to see them
on Raw. Okay, Randy must be one lah.
Randy don't need to say. Randy, especially this year, he's just on fire.
Yeah.
MVP, surprisingly enough.
Okay. Oh, for me, MVP is like, he's on the screen, I smile. But I'm not like, when is MVP coming up? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I see what you mean. Okay, go on.
Okay, but the thing about MVP, maybe like, or other than the fact that, I know his story and everything, and he's been doing great work with the Hurt business and all that.
Yeah.
But I've been looking at his, not just social media, but all his like YouTube exclusives.
Oh,
where
okay.
he's like going around randomly recruiting people. And he's just speaking facts, bro. He's just throwing people with facts. Like, when I told you about it last week, right? Where he approached Cedric Alexander and told him to like leave Ricochet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was saying like, Ricochet is getting his own WWE Chronicle. What about you? Yeah. And I was like those are things that we fans would say, but To have a character like him being so smart and cerebral said, it's pretty badass. So those kind of characters you need to have on Raw because they just level up the intelligence factor.
Yeah, sure.
You know? So I just love his character right now. So I watch it for him. And it's a bit tough because for me I feel bad for him, but I do still am a big fan of Drew McIntyre. He's making whatever he has work for him, but he just needs that one opponent, aka Randy, that can just make him fucking compelling. Because he's not a bland babyface by all means, bro. He's still pretty badass in the way he talks and carries himself and his programs. But so far it's been very formulaic.
Yeah, it's been lackluster because you don't see him losing his title. You don't see any real threat to him.
Yep.
Like you never have that sense of, oh shit, he could lose the title. This is the time, like, he's in some deep shit. No, you're like, okay, yeah, he's gonna beat Dolph. He's gonna kick Bobby Lashley's ass. So,
the one that gave me some hope that he has the ability to like show range as a wrestler and performer was his interaction when Heath came out. When Heath Slater had that thing with him, you can immediately see his character change, that remorse.
Yeah.
Because like if I was a normal human being would react that way, like I'm doing so well in life and this friend of mine I kind of like forgotten. Okay, now I feel bad. So those are very human kind of natural reactions that I can appreciate. So he needs to be put in more such situations.
It's a shame that Dolph they didn't sign Heath to a slightly longer contract so that they could do more with that. Milk that whole thing, make that, Heath Ledger on the pole match. No, Heath Ledger. Heath Slater on the pole match.
Yeah.
Put him on a shark cage or something like that. Have him involved somehow.
And again, bro, imagine if they use the old Attitude Era trick of throughout the match. Okay, say for example, instead of having the match between Heath and Drew happen straight away, have the initial segment and then have it at the main event.
Yeah.
And then throughout the rest of the episode, it's like maybe like Drew knocking on his door and like, man to man behind the scenes. Let's not do this, man. Let's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It could have been a running thing throughout the night and it would have made the main event compelling.
Like milk it a little bit more, like nuanced milking it. Yeah, I feel like, I don't know. You're right. With Raw, they do some of these things, but there's a lot less of that whole build-up of things. I don't know if it's just they've resigned themselves to, okay, you know what? People are just going to watch 1 hour. So we'll just front sell, back sell.
Watch 1 hour.
Oh, wait, I watched 1 hour. Oh, did I do that?
Yeah,
I didn't even realize I did that. 1 hour. People are 1 hour. So
oh my God,
do you think that could be it? It's like, okay, they understand that people are not going to watch all 3 hours, so they try not to sell something too early.
No, I know what they're doing, They are basically compartmentalizing each segment into
its
like
own
just a segment.
thing. Yeah.
You know why?
Why?
They can put it on YouTube.
No lah, they can still edit. What?
No, but if I can do the entire segment of Heath and Drew as one segment, put it on YouTube, it's one clip done. But if I want to do like multiple clips of
can
the same
lah,
thing,
you cut.
Yeah, I mean that's
just
my theory lah.
It's just it's a creative issue lah. If that were the case, then that would be a stupid reason to do it.
I mean, given how fast they upload their shit, I think it could be like because they want to like get it out there.
Yeah, so cut. But the problem is, it makes it. You see that, but that goes to the whole nature of social media these days, right? Yeah. If you don't put it out, somebody else will put it out already.
Okay, let's do something, bro.
What?
We can do this. Let's do a comparison episode where we watch like an episode of Raw from like maybe like Attitude Era like 1999 or some shit, and then we compare it with like a episode of Raw from 2019 or 2000, and then we don't shit on it for the sake of shitting on it because when it sucks. But we try to
break it down,
critically analyze it as content writers or like content producers, like see how they structure their episodes, then how they hook the audience, and like what is WWE doing at this point in time. So
but you don't mean watch it live lah, you mean watch it first and then make notes lah. Okay, like, I'm down. We can like we can basically do a comparison. Like if you want me to do a run sheet, I don't mind. So are you talking about, let's say, next Raw, which next Raw is what date?
The last weekend of July.
So next Raw is on the 27th of July, right?
Yeah.
So then you are saying we watched next Raw, but we also watch 27th of July in 2000.
Or 2000, yeah.
2000.
2000.
I mean, it won't be exactly on the 27th of July, but the same week, that Raw. Okay.
Okay, and then we can do like a side by side breakdown, whatever it is, and then we talk about like like who are the stars, what's the running storylines, and how it's being delivered.
And how it's different, yeah. Well,
So
you know what this means, right? That means we have to sit through all 3 hours of this next week's Raw and pay attention.
Yes, which we haven't been doing, and we need to do it because it's part of our job now. Okay, you know what I find this complex, and I hope those our listeners are listening in, and feel free to give like put your DMs and give any sort of feedback.
Let us know.
Tell us what is it about Raw at that point in time that worked, and what can be done, with our current episode of Raw. Like what elements is missing? Don't just say Stone Cold lah.
Yeah, The Rock, Stone Cold, Kurt Angle.
Yeah, but I mean, what can literally, like, if we suddenly got hired as like a creative writer for WWE, what are the elements from the era that work that in our context today that we can actually recycle?
Actually, if you look at 2000, that means we are talking about post Monday Night War already, right?
No, we are still deep in it.
When did the Monday Night Wars end?
2001.
Oh, okay. Okay, so there you go. So that's your answer right there. Competition. There's no competition.
If I'm not wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, 2000, mid-2000 would probably be like the build-up to King of the Ring, perhaps?
I can't remember, obviously. So you know what? I like this idea. Let's do that. Next episode, we'll do Raw then and now, 20 years comparison.
All right. I can't wait to read up on it, man.
Read up on it. You watch the whole episode, bro.
Yeah. I feel like I want to get the backstory back in mind. But yeah, I'm going to do it like soon. I'm just going to fucking turn on my WWE network and I'm just going to fucking watch that 2 hours of Raw and see what's up.
Was it 2 hours or 3 hours back then?
No, it was still 2 hours. They only became 3 hours in 2012.
Then that might be an easier watch because it's only 2 hours.
Yeah,
you don't have to sit through a bunch of filler. Well, then again, who knows? We might watch it and go, what the fuck is this crap they were doing back then? Like Crash Holly versus Funaki or some shit.
Yeah, probably some stupid ass like hardcore match.
Actually, you know what? I don't mind that now. It seems like we haven't seen something like that in a long time.
Okay. Next week. I think and there isn't any like pay-per-view events or what happening, right?
No, not for a while. Yeah. I mean, AEW is settled.
Yeah. So the build up to SummerSlam,
Yeah. Okay, well, that's that. I mean,
Any final words?
I don't think it was all negative. Like I said, I think we were just frustrated at the direction. But in terms of the workers and the performances they put out, I think there's a lot of positive in that. They have a lot of really talented people there. Yeah. It's just that whether they can put it together in a nice package that we can enjoy.
I'm a bit sad because of Paul Heyman's run as the creative director, executive director, whatever it is, was quite brief. But then again, when I think back, what exactly did Paul Heyman manage to achieve in his 1 year in charge?
Well, I mean, the question will always be, was it because he was shackled by Vince McMahon? At the end of the day, he has to answer to the boss. He can, he doesn't have free reign. If you thought that he had 100% free reign, you must be crazy. There's no way.
Yep. Remember that one episode from his very first few times as when he was officially appointed? The one where Braun Strowman speared Bobby Lashley through? Yeah,
that was a really good episode. I think.
Yeah.
But that was the pre-COVID era where there was a crowd to react to that. Can you imagine if that happened and there was no crowd? Wow.
Yeah. I guess like the point I'm trying to make is we as fans, right? We are nothing but honest, but we won't try to sugarcoat it, or we won't say like, because we love WWE, we're gonna make sure we're gonna say all the great things about it. It looks
good, for them.
Yeah, and I feel that whatever we are feeling now, we need to kind of like document it, because if it gets good in the future, and I do always hope that it gets better, we can see the changes, how
we can look back and realize, hey, they did a good job in pulling themselves out of this funk. It's exactly what we did with AEW. Remember when every episode I was shitting on AEW?
Yes.
You remember this, right? And we did it in a way where it was like, obviously I have my biases and I have my views on certain things and how wrestling should be portrayed and whatnot. But at the end of the day, once they started putting out good product, it was like, you can't talk shit about them. As much as I am a fan of the WWE, once they started bucking up, it was like, okay, yeah, I appreciate what they've been doing. And when you watch Dynamite, I mean, to me now, Dynamite is 60% good stuff, 40% crap.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's way more good stuff than there is crap.
Basically, once they eliminated Brandy Rhodes from the equation.
He's terrible, bro.
Then the 40% is just Young Bucks, right?
Young Bucks, the Lucha Bros. No lah, you know. But yeah, less.
Now got FTR to like up the equation.
Got FTR got Chris Jericho doing his thing.
Yeah,
but I'm still not convinced with Moxley. By the way, I don't know if this is an unpopular statement, but I still think that John Moxley is not doing it for me as a champion there.
Put it this way, bro. Like, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. I trust AEW more to listen to the fans. Yeah,
you're right.
If we say shit, they are hearing and they're probably like, okay, now let's do what it is to get better. WWE, not so much.
No, WWE, they will just do whatever they want to do. If fans boo a person, fuck you. We'll push him down your throat even more. History has taught us that.
I don't know whether it's a politically right thing to say, but it's like a PAP in the sense, you know. Ooh.
I don't understand what you mean by that, and I shall not comment about that.
I shall leave it with just this thought. What I'm just trying to say is, they might say they hear what you're saying, but in the next 5 years, it's still going to be the same.
Well, okay, let's take solace in the fact that there's still NXT, and at least NXT is doing some interesting stuff with what they have and.
Yeah. But one last thing about AEW, and I know we haven't been like reviewing episodes like per se in the last couple of episodes that we are doing, but you know how when Kenny Omega first came into AEW, everyone was thinking that they're just gonna make the promotion revolve around him. It's gonna be the cornerstone, blah blah blah. And it's safe to say year one wasn't really the year of Omega. Like,
nope.
He was more of like a bit part role.
Yeah.
And he was more of like a supporting player. But something happened on last week's AEW that caught my attention.
Okay.
And from the dirt sheets, I was listening to like what people are saying on the ground. It was very promising, lah. Do you see the part where he basically went batshit crazy and beat up Marco Stunt?
Yeah. As in like it felt a bit out of character because he's always been this chill, like whatever. Then all of a sudden he loses it on Marco Stunt. So I was wondering about that. Like, is that a sign of things to come?
So here's the interesting thing. We all know like the whole like he doesn't drink, and then like FTR and whoever is like been throwing alcohol on him and just like trying to piss him off in a certain way. And the best Kenny Omega ever was in New Japan was when he was the heel leader of the Bullet Club. When he was initially challenging Okada in like 2017, way before Chris Jericho entered the picture. When he was like the evil gaijin of Bullet Club, he was his best because he was an asshole.
Right.
And asshole Omega hasn't made his appearance in AEW yet.
Yeah. So you're thinking that the latter half of this year we will see asshole Omega, and if anything, he's the one to turn on Cowboy instead of the other way around. Yep,
could be, because this is very interesting. We have been telegraphing that Cowboy has been the one who's going to cause all the rift, right?
Yeah.
But then, and this could be how AEW listening to the crowd.
Yeah.
Cowboy unexpectedly has gotten himself over.
Yes.
And he has become very, very compelling as a character, which is all we've ever wanted. He has developed more than just deep thoughts.
Cowboy with deep thoughts.
And if Cowboy were to listen to our podcast from a year ago, he was like, oh, I've changed so much since then.
Yeah.
And I feel that because that is happening organically, AEW may call a shoot and say, hey, you know what? Let's turn Omega heel instead. That would be really, really cool. And I would care. You know what would be damn awesome? For some reason, Omega wins the title off of Moxley, but runs as a heel champion. And eventually he gets dethroned by a face super over Hangman Page.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense.
Because, okay, we know that Omega is established, right? And he can have his year-long reign of terror in like the year 2 of AEW.
Yeah.
And then they are still committed to building new stuff. So the one that eventually knocks him off of that position is Hangman Page.
And guess who is waiting in the wings to challenge Hangman Page after that?
MJF.
Yeah. So they've set themselves up quite well, and you're right, they do listen to the fans. So I'm excited to see. And you know, Chris Jericho, he's sort of taken sort of like a upper mid-card role, and he's totally fine with it. And his stuff has been some of the more interesting and must-watch. Like, if there's one thing I must watch on Dynamite, it's Chris Jericho, either on commentary or his interactions now with Orange Cassidy. You saw the orange buff, right? The orange shoes buff. And then who was it? Was it Santana or Ortiz? He like flailing and fell around. Wow, I loved it.
Damn funny. Yeah.
It was so reminiscent of the beer bath from years ago, where who was swimming in the beer? Right? Was it Vince?
Vince. It was Vince.
Yeah, Vince himself. So I was like, oh my God, that is hilarious. That just called back so many really good memories.
Yeah.
So,
he's still Le Champion. He's still Le Champion in my eyes.
Yeah. No, and he will always be Le Champion. And him and like Hager and Guevara, well, Guevara not so much. Like, he hasn't been on TV for a while. And Santana and Ortiz, I love them as a faction, even though they are none of them are champions.
Yeah.
Somehow they are the most entertaining to me.
Yeah. So I feel like AEW has settled into this groove where everyone has a spot in the show.
Yeah. They know their role.
Yeah, even though you do have some merit when you say like, Moxley's not really compelling as a champion, I do agree to a certain extent. Like his feuds, none of them have like pop.
Look, and like they are throwing him people like Brian Cage,
who is like,
and before that, Brody Lee, and to AEW Dark you go. Dark Order in AEW Dark.
Like none of that has kind of like worked out the way we thought.
Yeah.
But for me, I feel like Moxley is similar to someone like Kevin Owens. Like, I like Kevin Owens as a character. But only in the right scenarios, he's compelling.
Yeah. I wouldn't even go that far because I feel like on the stick, Kevin Owens would destroy John Moxley. Like,
John Moxley, yeah.
I really feel nothing from him. Maybe it's a character thing. Maybe I just don't gravitate towards these type of characters. I just don't feel like every time he talks, it's like he's just angry about something. Okay, I get it. Yeah, you're angry. You're an angry wrestler. It's like any wrestler can pull that promo off, I feel.
Do you remember his performances in last year's G1 Climax? You watch a bit of it?
Yeah. Even then, like his performance, because of the people he faced there, right? Against Lance Archer. And
Ishii.
But even his, like, and maybe we talked about it then as well, maybe the New Japan style suits him more. He felt more at home versus the North American style. Like, to be honest, the only thing I remember from John Moxley, Dean Ambrose, is the fucking mask that they made him wear. The germaphobe shit. That to me is the most memorable John Moxley. That says,
oh my God.
Yeah, that to me,
his run sucks lah.
No,
run in WWE sucks.
It's not that his run sucked. And we all have to remember that I didn't watch the Shield stuff, so I don't have that to compare with. But to me, in my mind, John Moxley / Dean Ambrose, the most memorable thing that he's done to me is the fucking mask shit. Like, even the current run he is on in AEW does not appeal to me at all. So maybe it's just that I don't gravitate towards this type of character. It's nothing to do with his in-ring work or,
when you talk about AEW John Moxley, to me, the most memorable thing he's ever, that he still hasn't been beaten, was his first appearance.
Oh, his debut lah.
Yeah, basically when he came and, DDT or
Kenny
did whatever
Omega.
he did on the chip, that whole thing felt magical. I felt like, whoa, okay, this is like, who's this? This rebel is coming in, he's going to be part of WWE, like AEW.
But he
defected.
Yeah, that was because he had the whole WWE defection vibe to it.
Yeah.
And all our smart fans knew. But now that he's AEW all the way, there's to me, there's nothing special other than, he's just this rebel. Or this
what about his rivalry with Chris Jericho where you won the title? That whole build-up, do you enjoy it?
Yeah, I mean,
it was stealing the car, the eye patch.
It was enjoyable to me because of Chris Jericho, not because of Dean. John. If he was feuding with somebody else, not of the level of Chris Jericho, I think it would have sucked.
You do have a point. You know why? Because all his rivalries after that has been sucky.
Yeah, it has been
Jake
just
Hager sucked, Brody Lee.
Brody
The
Lee.
match was good, but
Yeah.
the build-up sucked.
Brian Cage.
It was more about
Tez. Yeah, so
than
it's
anything
like,
else.
I don't know what it is. Like, is it just that character doesn't appeal to someone like me? Or,
I guess.
Like, okay, do you think that right now his character is compelling to you? Would you watch a pay-per-view? Would you pay $40 to watch Jon Moxley in the main event versus somebody? And who would it have to be?
Okay, in AEW, as
Yeah.
like a match in AEW,
Yeah.
man, it's honestly very hard. Like, okay, I like if he fought Darby Allin and there was like a rivalry behind it. But I won't. There isn't that much mega matches that he can do right now in AEW. Honestly.
Exactly. And do you think that with him, he did the lights out match with Kenny Omega, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they blew their what? They came too fast.
They blew their what?
Yeah, they came too fast, basically. They gave you the match way too fast already.
Oh, like you didn't build it up as much, is it?
Yeah, it was just, this is what they can do. And they basically, blew their what?
They blew their what? I just never heard that.
Really?
That
You never heard
before.
that phrase? Yeah. It means that you gave away all your chips.
Yeah.
You finished too early and then now there's nothing left to show.
Yeah. How many more marquee matches can AEW pull off though? Like what other marquee matches that we haven't seen yet?
Well, I
to
mean,
me, okay.
that's up to their creativity already.
Yeah. As in, okay, like for you, right? If you look like at the roster in AEW all the way throughout, what match that they haven't given that you think like, okay, that's gonna be a badass compelling match?
Okay, but this is just me, but it would have to be a rematch of Kenny Omega versus Chris Jericho. If I had never watched, or maybe it's because of the fact that I had watched their New Japan stuff.
Okay. Like for me, and even though it's very weird because a lot of people giving Kenny Omega hate, I still think like a marquee match in AEW needs to have a Kenny Omega in it for some reason.
Yeah. Well,
like
I would agree.
Let's not talk about tag teams. Tag teams, they have their own division. But Kenny Omega, to me now, the marquee match that I really want to see, Kenny Omega is versus Hangman Page. With a great storyline. Kenny Omega needs to be heel, needs to be an asshole, and then like Hangman Page is like this beer drinking badass.
Yeah, they just the seeds are already there. So it's just how they execute it.
For me, okay, if you want to compare like the Attitude Era top tier, right? I would liken Dean Ambrose more of like a Mick Foley. He's like the wild card and he's around the main event, but he's not the main guy.
Yeah. Okay, here's the issue with that comparison though. Mick Foley was lovable and likable. He found a way to make people care. The whole, Mrs. Foley's baby boy, like his whole backyard wrestling story, like you rooted for him. Because let's face it, when he was Mankind, when he was that weird, like deranged guy, nobody really gave a fuck. He was just Undertaker's opponent to smash.
Yeah.
But
so basically, if he's lovable,
when he became lovable, when he connected with the audience in that, and people understood about his story, then people started caring about him, wanting him to win because he's an underdog story. Dean doesn't give that underdog vibe at all. Like he's just a badass, like he's a badass who doesn't give a shit about your rules.
Probably there's too many badasses in AEW or trying to be badass. Not enough diverse personalities, I guess.
Yeah. See, you know what I would... Okay, and I know a lot of people are going to hate me for this. You compared him to Mick Foley in the Attitude Era, right? I don't know why this other name just popped up in my head that I would compare Jon Moxley to. Hardcore Holly.
Oh.
So far away from the main event. But he's badass.
But I agree with you, bro. Like in terms of his characteristics, similar.
Yeah.
No nonsense.
Badass.
Okay.
Rough and tough.
I give you not say it's this. I'm giving you an exact like by like comparison, but probably Dean Ambrose is like Chris Benoit in 2000 or 2001. Like he can fight for the main event. People respect him in terms of his technical talent, but no personality to be the main event. Yeah,
like intense promos, but that's about it.
Yeah.
No, okay, I wouldn't say it's like not charismatic or what. It's like there's that X factor that makes you care about somebody that is just not there.
The funny thing is because right when he was Dean, right,
Yeah.
he had like a lovable, funny side that was showcased in WWE.
Yes.
But the problem is, he didn't like it because he was complaining on the podcast to Chris Jericho saying that they make him goofy.
Yeah.
They
Well, here's the thing. Maybe he was too much of a, and this is going to be unpopular. Maybe he was too much of a mark for himself.
took himself too seriously, lah.
Took himself way too seriously. Yeah, maybe that's it. And he didn't want to listen to the advice. And okay, lah, you know, WWE has come out with a lot of crap. Let's be honest here, you know, like we just spent, I don't know how long, an hour and a half shitting on WWE creative. And now we're here saying, John Moxley should have listened. No, I don't think so, right? So it's just a combination of everything. Like maybe he took himself too seriously, thought that he was better than what he was, wouldn't listen to advice. I don't know what it is. But what it is right now is just not working for me.
I guess at the end of the day, there's still a few more aces up, you know, AEW's cards. To me, Kenny Omega should be in the main event. Like, I think it's his time. Like, he's done enough of his background work, tag team, blah, blah, blah. Let him shine. We've seen, like, for example, if they can take the title off of Naito, who didn't even get a chance to run with the title, I think they can do it with John Moxley. John Moxley have done a couple of good defenses, but it's time to take the title off of him.
Yeah. Because, exactly. I don't think he's done a lot with the title.
As in, with whatever that was given with him, couldn't do much also, lah. Huh?
Like, have a compelling feud with Kenny Omega and finally have Kenny take the title off of him, you know?
Okay, how would you rehabilitate Moxley's character?
Wow, shit, that's the $1 million question, right? Because, like, I honestly, I don't know.
Okay, I know.
Oh, you know, huh? Oh, you tell him.
I know.
Bro,
I tell him, huh?
You tell
Later
me.
they pay me. Tony Khan needs to pay me first, but then I will tell him.
But you're gonna drop the info on this podcast, right?
Of course.
For free.
We should have a tiered version of the podcast. No, just kidding. Okay.
Go for it.
The reason why John Moxley / Dean Ambrose was super compelling when the Shield first started, not many people know this, and I don't know whether you do know because you didn't watch the Shield, right? The mouthpiece for the Shield initially was actually Dean Ambrose. Do you know that?
Oh, no, I did not because I missed the whole Shield era.
Okay. Then I need to give you a few Dean Ambrose promos because he was actually the spokesperson for the Shield. Seth Rollins didn't have the mic skills at that point in time.
Oh, Reigns was just the muscle, lah.
He was just the quiet muscle. He just had like the one-liner here and there.
Yeah.
So when they first debuted, they did all the destruction, blah, blah, blah. Michael Cole actually, last time in WWE.com, they always have this backstage interview sit-down interviews where Michael Cole will sit down and interview people. And the one that was doing all the talking was Dean Ambrose. And here is the kind of vibe that he was giving off. He was giving off Brian Pillman vibes. He was giving off Heath Ledger Joker vibes. Okay. And this thing, the Shield used to do this thing where they cut their promo with a handheld camera.
Right, yeah.
Handheld recorder, right?
And talk into it, yeah.
They talk into it like it's like those like home footage kind of shit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and this grimy kind of like dirty kind of vibe, right? Was actually all John Moxley's idea. Because he was doing it back in the independent when he was in CZW before he went to FCW. He was known for cutting these Raven-like promos where he was like leaning against the wall, sitting down, hunched, super like dirty and like fucking grungy and like cutting all these like psychotic promos.
Isn't that what he's doing now in AEW? Or not really?
The thing is, it's not really like unfiltered the way he did it back in the day. There was a reason why he was called the TT Master. Do you know about that?
The what master?
Titties.
Titty Master? Why was he called the Titty Master? Please don't do that ever again.
I can't believe I did that, but yeah, I had to show it to you in a visual way.
Sure. Why was he called the Titty Master?
He was basically cutting ECW style promos with like hot sexy girls, like his hands wrapped around a hot girl and like talking.
That doesn't make any sense, but okay.
No, basically he had this like badass like sex cult leader Marilyn Manson vibes. Like he got girls hanging around him and they look high as fuck, and he's also looking high as fuck. Basically he's that stoner / crazy violent dude / Raven and then / Brian Pillman. You know, okay, can you imagine that whole combination?
I can imagine that. Yeah.
Basically, he was an aesthetic. I don't know. That's a
Sure.
good way
Yeah.
to
That makes
explain.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, if you want to use a bit of the Darby Allin kind of vibes, where Darby Allin kind of shoot his own promos, have like the black and white, whatever it is, right? If John Moxley can have that creative control where he is able to shoot himself and give all these like compelling, more of like very dark kind of promos, and you can tell he's like a street criminal. You know, because he always come across as like, you want to say he's like a good guy. I don't think he's a good anti-hero. No. I think he's a good evil person. Like I think he can be a evil kind of character,
like a Punisher.
Yeah, like a Punisher, or like but the evil is not like it's not like a supernatural evil. Yeah, it's more of like a boss street gang.
Yeah, like I don't care, I don't play by your rules sort of evil.
Yeah. And that kind of wild cut.
Haven't we just described Stone Cold Steve Austin?
Well, okay, the problem with Stone Cold is Stone Cold has such a unique cadence to the way he talks, and he's like, you know, but Dean can be like, he has that drawling voice, like Kenny Omega. Kenny. You know, like this right. I don't know what he reminds of, like a Street Fighter character, like a Street Fighter evil guy.
Okay, but can we agree that shit, while cool, is not main event?
And I don't think he would be main event. He won't be the guy. But I feel that he can be a guy that is a consistent draw in AEW with a character. It's like a Raven lah.
Yeah. It's not a guy you would pay $40 to see on the top of the card, but he's a guy that you're like, oh shit, he's in the mid card. Well, even if the main card kind of is not here, not there, maybe I will buy it for the mid card.
To me, Cody and John Moxley for the TNT title.
Yeah,
scene,
that would make sense.
Cool. Yeah, and Ambrose is like the evil, like that character I just described you. I think that would be compelling. How to make him into a draw? The only way he can become a draw is he have an awesome guy to work opposite of.
Yeah.
He needs somebody. His own, not enough. Him on his own, not enough.
True.
Yeah. So that's my Adam Blampied, how I would book and rehabilitate John Moxley's character.
But you have a long way to go now, because he is at a certain position where, you know, he is he's technically the face of the company.
Yep.
And it's a not very compelling face of the company, quite unfortunately.
Yeah. He needs more tries with it.
Yeah. Or he just needs to lose it and, you know, give it to somebody who can run with it while he builds his own legacy at another level.
Put him in the same position as Park. Like, I know Park is good, he's great, but not main event.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah. And actually, they are very similar styles too. Like, they're angry, dirty, grungy, give no fucks sort of characters as well. So, but like I said, like, there are 1,001 of those. So how do you stand out from the lot?
Yeah, fair enough.
So
anyway, we have talked quite a long time.
We have, as usual, but you know, it is about what we love watching, and that is wrestling. So we thank you so much for listening to the podcast or watching the video, if it's on YouTube or on Facebook, whatever it is. Thank you so much. Hey, leave us a comment, hit a like, hit a subscribe. All that shit helps us out, right? Help us grow the local wrestling industry. And, you know, talking about that, I mean, who do you want us to talk to next?
Yeah.
Let us know as well. Slide into our DMs, leave a comment. We read all that stuff.
Yes, and hopefully we can get a few SPW wrestlers on hand. We really enjoyed Colonizer's interview, so we'll see what on their side SPW is doing to, you know, prep themselves as we hopefully open up and maybe open our doors to wrestling shows.
That could be a while though. It could be a while, but
could be a while.
Yeah, love to see what they're up to, you know.
Yep.
Anyone's going to do an empty arena show?
We will definitely be there, Mr. Young.
Yeah, we would love to be there. Let us know.
Of course. All right.
Anyway, thank you very much for keeping us company once again. Next week, we'll do the Raw 20-year difference recap.
Raw then and now.
Raw then and now. Not
Comparing
then now for
Raw
not then now forever.
If it keeps up the way it is, then now and 2020.
and never maybe. But yeah, as always, thank you for hanging out with us. It is Mr. Young.
And it's for in the building. Take care.
Oh, bro, I forgot to record again. I'm
off.
kidding.
Fuck off. Okay, keep this in. Fuck off.
Make yourself famous, Meaning the immovable object.